Here we go. So we all know Mr. Stephen Harris. He's got his glasses on because he got beat up this week. He's got a black eye.
I got a black eye, man. Took a real butt whooping this weekend.
I love it. And then we're bringing in former national championship linebacker, Mr. Brian Crum. Brian, pleasure to meet you and pleasure to have you on, man. Thank you so much for coming on here.
Oh, man, I appreciate it, bro.
Absolutely. Well, look, man, we're gonna dive right into it. We for those of you that don't know, Stephen Harris, he was in Gainesville. He had a watch party, but Mr. Brian actually went to the game on the sidelines, stood in that hot, humid, 150-degree weather alongside the boys, and was able to get boots on the ground, as we like to call it here at Hightop Sports, to get a different perspective than we got, man. So I'm going to pass the buck to you. Just a few things that you saw, some things as a former national champion that you want to get off your chest, man. Let's hear it.
Well, other than the score, which was obvious, but and the fans ragging me as I left the stadium, but you know, just things that stuck out to me was just effort, man. You know, when you say I'm proud to be a Florida Gator, man, that has to mean something. And I could understand if it's Vanderbilt at 11 a.m. and it's week 8 or week 7 or whatever, but this is week 1. This is against UM. You know, this is the guys you played against in high school, possibly guys that you were competing with for recruiting spots. You know, there's a rich tradition between these two teams, and you just expected, you know, a little bit more fire. You know what I mean? So that stood out the most to me. You know, I could understand, you know, if someone is bigger than you, stronger than you, you know, college is all about recruiting. But as far as, you know, man, you can't whip me. You know, that Gator attitude of, I don't care if I'm a walk-on or if I'm an All-American, you know, you're going to have to put me on the ground. You're going to have to, you know, go out of your way to force your will against mine. And, you know, so at times, you know, I just didn't see that, didn't feel that.
So I love that. I mean, that's something we I forget about too, is that this rivalry carries so much more than just the fanatic part of it, right? Even for the players, like you said, this is something that kids you've grown up with, right? That you're going up against. It's in a sense the extension of high school rivalry, and you win against them. I mean, sometimes you can play with some of them, but now it's personal because you're on the other side of the football field. And again, it's spot on. It's week 1. This is something you think about. I mean, we've been thinking about it since last year. Not everybody gets to play in this rivalry either, because it's only every 4 years, again, back and forth. Some people miss it, given if they only play a couple of years. So there's so much history and just animosity between these two. You shouldn't need anything to wake up on that Saturday morning to go pay some. And it seemed like they needed smelling salts. I got plenty right here if they needed it. It seems like they needed a whole bag of it this weekend.
Exactly.
I got a question. What to you, you know, we played together 06, came in together 2002. Then coaches changes, Coach Zook, getting Coach Meyer. What do you think the biggest? Because I talked about it a lot last year about the energy level, attention to detail, stuff like that. What do you think? Just from being there, what did you see that? What was the lapse and all that? Like, what do you attribute that to?
Well, just from the outside looking in, I mean, you know, the transition that we experienced between someone that I would call Coach Zook, I would call him an excellent motivator, you know, during the game. But as far as, you know, having a staff that is strategical during the week, and, you know, and I'm not saying that they weren't, I'm just speaking from the results of the games that we played in, and we all know how those games ended. But I just feel like, you know, it seemed to be disjointed. You know, when we played, our head coach special teams. That was his thing. And with too many programs, that's the team where you kind of lax and you kind of want to try guys out. And I understand that, you know, trying to get guys on the field, whatever. Some guys just can't figure it out, but they're just big and fast. Let's let them run down on kickoff. Cool. But to me, you know, that that is a measure of a team, you know, the attention to special teams, like you're getting at the attention to detail. And to me, you know, the way guys run out on the field, the way they line up, you know, I'm looking at all kind of crazy stuff like that. You know, I'm like, man, what is going on with the team? Like, why are we, you know, but in between timeouts, you know, in between huddles, are the guys together? Are they standing looking in the stands? You know, what, you know, are they talking before and after those TV timeouts? How are they talking? You know, and I'm looking at the coaches' body language. You know, are the guys engaged? Are they responding to the coaches? And we can look at the results, and you know, you have to question those things. You know what I mean? It just seemed to me like the guys were on special teams. It just seemed like they didn't take it as an opportunity to make a play or to make a difference in the game. And you know, as a player, when you get an opportunity to get out there, man, you know, you never know when or how the ball is gonna bounce or when the ball is gonna come your way. So you always got to be ready. You know, you stay ready and you got to get ready. So
yeah, right.
you know, I feel like that was the match as well. So
yeah, and you, I know we talked about it. Like you was just saying, that energy level. And for you, it's all it football with us, man. You know, when you get to a certain level, it's the little things that make the difference on the team, and it's the true measure of your team. Everybody got big, fast, strong guys. But when you told me just from this, when you were looking at the special team, you said you felt like it was guys out there that, and Gators, they don't like to say dogs. You know what I mean? The fans are like when you say guys that are dogs. Yeah, but you didn't. It wasn't guys that were dogs that you believe that wanted it, like to go down and knock somebody's head off. You said it was more so the guys that just like are just, you know, just there. There's no real passion there. And from my perspective, that's unacceptable. You can't have that nowhere on the team at all. And for me, that you got to put that on coaching. You know what I mean? That's something that has to be enforced. You know what I mean? Like Urban, I hate to keep going back to comparing coaches, but you remember the meetings, Urban would call you out and say, hey, stand up. What are you running the 40? What's your 40 time? Oh, coach, I run a 4.3. Yes, well, let's put the practice film up of you running down on kickoff. Is that a 4.3? Oh, no, coach. Why are you not running 4.3 on the kickoff? Now, okay, I tell you what, next time you don't run 4.3 on kickoff, whether it's practice or whatever, just go run it somewhere else because you won't be on our team. That's like the attitude that you got to have. And I don't
carrying on to what you're saying. After a while, he didn't have to say that. After a while, we were saying that. You know, like
holding each other accountable.
Man, you mess up. You don't even want to look to the sideline. You don't want to look in the huddle. everybody like, man, come on, bro. You know what I mean? What you doing, man? You know, and it's just when you got that peer pressure on you, you know, then when the players are self-policing themselves and saying, hey, man, you the L5 on kickoff, bro. You supposed to stand in the middle. You supposed to shake the center and bust the wedge. That's your job. You ain't supposed to be all the way out here outside the hash. You know what I mean?
It's football season, which means it's time for you to start winning with your favorite players on and off the field. And with Prize Picks, you can do that. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. And what's special about this time of year right now is that one Caleb Williams passing yard gets you 1 win on Prize Picks every week in September. That's right. Only 1 yard gets you an automatic win every football weekend in September 4. 4 weeks of free W's. Don't miss this deal on Prize Picks because it's gone when September ends. So you select Caleb Williams that have more than 0.5 passing yards. Gotta get 1 and you have a W. We're already halfway there. Now, some of you only need to pick 2, but I want to go 4 because when you can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. So Caleb Williams is going to be my first selection to have more than 0.5 passing yards, then Travis Hunter to have more than 79.5 yards, and then more Jackson Arnold to have 265 point yards, more than that in this week coming up. Big time weekend for football. Be sure to download the Prize Pick app today and use the code Hightop and get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code Hightop on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win. Receive $50. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks, run your game. Now back to the show.
Yeah.
So
You
I
supposed
do
to
want
be where you at, man.
So we heard about,
Right.
look, this is something that I pumped all off seasons. We've heard about the brotherhood that was being developed, the self accountability. Going to Saturday again, I felt like there was plenty of errors that could have been self adjusted or self corrected from the
Yeah.
team. Did you? Again, I know you can't see everything, so we got to take everything with a grain of salt, right? This isn't like means this is what
Right.
it is, but like you just kind of laid out what this game is, what it means. I mean, if you're not dialed in and at your peak at this, we got Sanford next week, and I don't know what we're gonna do. But did you see any of that?
Right.
Did you see kind of that self correction with the players or even the coaches, or was it very just lax, just in general? I know the
Well,
results were there, but
it was hard to determine that. Just to be fair to the guys, because I know that they put a lot of time into what they do.
Mm.
But to me, I'm looking at the players. Personally, man. I mean, I feel like I was a type of person and player to where I really didn't need a coach to motivate me. You know what I mean? But some guys, it just depends on what type of team, what type of kids you have. But I'm always looking at the players, and you got to have some guys on your team that are self-motivated, that know, man, I got to go over here and, slap Steve in the back of the head. I got to go over here and tell Joe
Sure.
he's sorry. I got to tell Ray a joke. I got a doggone, you got to know how to
Yeah,
get
get
your
them
guys
going.
going. And that's just from going to war together. That's from doing all types of things, facing adversity. And I'm watching this guy make it through. So I know that when things get tough, I know what he gonna do, and he know what I'm gonna do. Now, if you never put to that test, and you don't have to find out, you don't have to form that connective tissue, then it's difficult, being out there to really trust this dude and really, man, I know this gonna hurt my shoulder, bro, but I got to spill this because I know my boy coming over the top. Nah, man, I'm a dog gonna save my shoulder, and I'm gonna bump this thing outside, and then, it's a lot of that too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But again, having, I look back and I think back and I'm like, Steve, I hate to be that old guy that's back in my day, but
Yeah,
we
I
think
know, right?
about all the guys on that staff that became head coaches. And I feel like, you have folks that are questioning our current leaders, you know, abilities and all that. So you have to look at, who are the guys behind them? Are they on the same
Around.
accord? When you talk to one of our coaches and you ask them the same question, you pretty much heard the same answer all the way through, all the way down the line. And then if you ask the team captains the same question, you pretty much gonna hear the same answer straight down the line, depending on who you ask. Now, if you ask a joker that's hanging on by a thread, then he might tell you something crazy. But, as a whole, everybody, had similar views on how things are supposed to be done and how things are supposed to be attacked. But at the University of Florida, you have to have that. You can't just be,
That's the standard.
a loose group, because once you get, man, our senior year, we won 2 games by 1 point. I mean, come on, man, and never at one time did we ever think we were gonna lose, like
Right.
ever. We were surprised when Auburn beat us. Like, damn, we lost. So
that's a crazy. That's how you have to function. That's how you have to operate. Like, just again, we got Stephen Harris, former national champion, and Brian Crum, former linebacker from 2006 national championship. All of you guys played together and played in national championship form. And just to hear that mentality, I feel like we're far away from that.
Yeah.
It feel like it's far, but it can change, kid. But it take them guys got to stand up. You got guys that are juniors and seniors. This is their last shot. All that being friends bullshit got to go out the window, kid. You got to be willing to get in somebody's face. You got to be militant. Practice got to be militant. Ain't nobody should be on the sideline looking in the air, lollygagging around. If I walk up to you and say, "Hey, what's the play?" and you don't know, is a problem. Everybody got to be
It's a
tuned
big
in.
problem.
And for me, people say, "Oh, we sunshine pump. We did this." Okay, you get the clips. You see the clips. They got great angles. Everybody look good. I love what we did on defense as far as the inside work. I feel like Chapman did a great job with the defensive tackles and getting them to play to run better. And we did great with that. And so the little things that you can see translation from the drills and all of that. But it's more than just the drills. When you playing football, it's communication level and all this other stuff. And people got to be believed and be held accountable. You can't have guys that are not paying attention on any level at any time. Like, I know I talked about going to the last scrimmage, and my initial comment was it started off a little slow, and then in certain periods it picked up. And I just gave those guys the benefit of the doubt, saying that, hey, they had been practicing all camp. It's the last one, so maybe it was, you know what I mean? I tried to give them the benefit of the doubt, because things that I saw that I wanted to be frustrated over, wasn't enough people frustrated about it. So I'm looking around, looking at the coaches' body language. I'm looking at Napier, and he's paying attention to what's going on. But as far as on the outside, the perimeter of your team, what other people are doing, are they in tune? It wasn't there, and so I'm riling them up, trying to get them going. I'm yelling, you know what I mean? Like I said, I was yelling at the offensive line the whole day, and to me, it was a great practice because I'm seeing results out of people I'm yelling at. But the surrounding people, if they're not in tune, they're not learning, and then they're not correcting the person that's in front of them. And so then you get to a game situation where these people don't give a shit about you. Practice is not practice anymore. You can't just go through the motions. It's real bullets flying out here. And then you start to see where things show up at, because maybe somebody wasn't yelling enough at this guy, or players wasn't holding enough players accountable or in tune all the time. So, you got young guys out there. It should be maximum communication going on. And you see that in some of these clips where there's not communication, or where they're going through the motion as if it was practice. But this is a live game scenario. You got to be able to make adjustments. But you know what I mean? I feel like it's not enough. The guys, I'm calling on the guys that are on the team that are juniors and seniors to stand the hell up, man. Get in somebody's chest. Hold everybody accountable, and it need to be militant. I joined the fraternity. We had to do things in order. Like, I'm a big guy, so it ain't nobody gonna just bully me, but I put myself through that. I allowed them so I could be uniform. I know how to clap on a dime with 15 guys. You know what I mean? You got to be in line, kid. And we have too many sometimes to see where it's just people not paying attention. You got to drill that. And and
we were talking.
For me, I would have to put that on coaching, man. Like, you got to, and for our guys that say, yeah, we gotten better, you gotten better, but we were far away. So yeah, you got better, but to what measuring stick? You know what I mean? And we have the pieces, we got all the talent. You feel me? But it's attention to detail, God. It's attention to detail. It's little things that keep happening every game where a player do this, and you be like, why did he do that? And you can't explain it, but he's on the field, and you figure like, damn, I know they had to have drilled this in practice. Like, we shouldn't have a guy chasing a guy across the field ever. Like, I know he had to heard that 1,000 times. Why did it come up? If he hadn't heard 1,000 times, like, it's just little stuff like that where I be like, it makes you be dumbfounded. You know what I mean? And you can't operate like that. You got to operate in excellency everywhere you at on the field, man. So
we were talking
like,
sorry.
No, I just talking with Brian. That was like our sentiment for him being on the sideline, watching special teams. Are they excited? Or do they look like they want to go out there and knock somebody's head off? Or is that just a part of the game for them? Like, you know what I mean?
I think, here's my thing. You got special teams, to me, is the difference between every major program. Are those guys earning the right to be on a special team? Are you really having to beat somebody out to be that left guard on punt? Or are you getting that job as a default because, you might have been promised or whatever spot, and then you're really not a starter, and they're trying to make sure to keep your interest so you don't hit the portal or whatever the specifics are. You know what I mean? It's a big difference in that. We were talking this weekend, and we were talking about, we had a time where our gunners was Riley Cooper and Wandy Pierre. I mean, you got a doggone professional receiver as a gunner, and oh, by the way, he's 6'4", 200 and something pounds, and he just
Right,
wanted to go
4-2.
out down there and tear something up. And you know, when we look at the guys out there, you know, is that a guy who's really having to scratch and fight for that job? You know, and that is that recruiting, is that coaching, is that, you know, just guys, you know, it's a combination of all of it to me, you know, and making it important and making everything competitive, you know, that's
Everything.
difficult at
Yeah.
times, you know.
Yeah.
But I feel like, you know, with the struggles of the last few years, sometimes coaches will get tunnel vision and they're trying to fix, you know, those things instead of being able to address everything. And I think that's kind of what the Gators are going through right now. They're trying to fix the offense. They're trying to, you know what I mean? And, you know, a lot of the things that we're talking about as far as enthusiasm and togetherness, sometimes that get lost. Sometimes that get lost when you're trying to figure out, well, man, we got
much chaos.
We got yeah.
I think you make a good point. Again, like when you simplify it, right? Like I just kind of like to, you know, compare things, but you're talking about the special teams, and it doesn't seem like off the rip, like, hey, why is that important? But you explained it in the sense that, hey, when the special teams is out there knocking somebody's head off, and I remember back in that 06, 07, those eras, like those guys were flying down the field. Like you almost get hyped up
every
for
time.
a punt return or a kick return because you knew somebody might get murdered. There might be a
couldn't wait to get Brandon James the ball.
And it was like, it was almost like, because again, that translates to the next play, because those guys, like you said, not only are they there to kill somebody, but they're fighting to get more time. And so the guys that then run off the football field said, that man just killed somebody. He's coming from my spot. But now there's
we had Earl as an up back.
There's complacency in the sense, right? Because they don't feel that threat. They don't feel like my spot's going to be taken, or if it is going to be taken, like my NIL check so cleared, so whatever.
There you go.